Okay, this is the second video about the second testimony that or mission that the Lord has called me on back in the fall of 1985. I started walking from Lethbridge, Alberta to Expo 86 and had to winter in Nelson. And the Lord stopped the journey until spring, and I shared a little bit about Aart and how the Lord sent his angel to bring introduce us to a man of God that we never heard of before. David Terrell, he's a world prophet that the Lord raised up many years ago, and up to this time he's been warning the churches in America and Canada to get out of the cities and prepare to live like like ants getting ready for winter, to basically get freed of the system, right? So this is been his testimony, and like I'm saying, he's a world prophet, just not a normal prophet. Jesus came to him in 1967 and touched the palms of his hand and gave him the revelation of Jesus Christ. And this is something that I'm just coming into now, that the revelation of Jesus Christ is being unveiled in my heart, that this is the time that God's bringing forth the unveiling or the manifestations of the sons of God. Getting back to the mission, the cross that I had somewhere along the way, I remember I put a bicycle wheel on the front, before I actually got into Nelson, and because of the snow, a lot of snow and ice, it was cold, but God was meeting my needs along the way. And when I was still ministering around Nelson with the cross, and I don't know what happened. I remember I left the cross somewhere downtown in the city, and they came around and they impounded the cross, and I think I had to pay to get it out. But it was kind of wore out. I kind of hollowed out the wood to make it lighter, and it was just kind of falling apart, and I knew that I had to make a new cross. So I went and got some 6x6 beams, 16 foot by 8 foot, and there's a friend of Aart's there that knew how to weld and made a leg that actually like a balance beam, and put on some wheelbarrow tires on it, and so I could actually balance that cross on my shoulder with very little weight on my shoulder, but it was heavy, right? It was heavy, and where the balance beam came down to the wheels, I was able to use that to carry stuff, right? And anyway, while staying at Aart's and going through the experience, learning his testimony, and where the revelation also gave the unveiling of materia, and of what the world's soon going to experience, his hidden agenda to tell mankind the same lie that was given in the garden, that you can become gods, right, through going through these different initiation rites. And also when God sent his angel to bring forth the message of David Terrell, this all helped to build my faith, and to be able to leave there in the spring. And I didn't really want to go, but Aart and I became best of buddies, and we knew that we would be together in the future, right? That I just met a best friend, a best brother in the faith. So when it came time to leave, I was very sad in my heart. I didn't want to go because I really loved the fellowship in the Word, the fellowship with this brother, and I loved the way that God would speak to him. Right, and God, he's a person that God doesn't speak this way just to everybody, but it came about because he was raised from the dead. So I began the journey, kind of saddened, and yet kind of happy. And right up probably for the next 3 or 4 weeks, it was mostly farmland, real land, horses and cattle and things like that. The towns were, sparsely spread apart, where you had to prepare. You had to load up with provisions, right? Because I was maybe averaging maybe 15, 18 miles a day, depending. Walking. I forget how many hours I walked a day. But you have to kind of balance yourself out. Met a lot of people along the way. A lot of people would stop. And it wasn't the Trans-Canada Highway. The number 3 highway was like a secondary road. And a lot of people will take the time to stop, and where I would get have the opportunity to share. But I was wondering, well, is God really with me on this? And he gave me a sign, and this sign just blew the socks right off my feet. And so he had a special anointing on the second part of this walk, and I'd be walking by on the left side of the shoulder, and I was see all these cattle out there way off in the fields, a couple 100 yards away, and I would see one cow would they would catch a scent, they would sense something, and I could see its head, it would turn, he'd look at me, and he would come from where he was at and line up at the fence, and the rest would follow suit. So I had all these cattle, sometimes there was 20 and 30 cattle that would line up at the fence. They all would come out from the field and line up against the fence, and they would watch me as I was walking by. And this happened without fail. It happened without fail. So the Lord gave me that sign to show that he was with me, right? And when I came to Princeton, there was a man that I met. He had a short red beard, in his 30s, driving a 4-door brown sedan. Nobody else was with him, but he was sent there by Satan to deliver a message. And what he did, he used the name of the high priest that was in Winnipeg, the one that God slayed in the spirit, the one that put out an all points bulletin on us. So, I was totally exposed. Says, God, I am hoping that you're really with me, because my life is on the line. This guy is going to get back to the group. Like the group already knows that I was on this journey. So anyway, I went into town. I stocked up full of supplies. I says, God, I can't do this next leg of the journey myself. The 90 miles of Manning Park, there was nothing, like no stores, no stops, no towns. And it says, God, I need someone to walk with me. And that's very same day, when I was in downtown Princeton, I met a brother who agreed to walk with me to Hope for the next couple of weeks or so, right? And so we all geared up, and this part of the trip, we really had to gear up, because there was no provision. We had to take enough supplies that would get us through for at least the next 7 to 10 days. And I tell you, that cross was heavy. It was, it was well over 200 pounds. And going up some of those hills, I remember carrying the cross with this other brother, I forget his name, but we had to tie a rope at the base of the wheels, and he had to pull the rope, and I had to pull the cross to get it up these hills. And anyway, the journey went good. There was no further incident from the group. We knew that we had God's protection on us. And I can remember this one time we stopped at Saturday Creek, and it was about halfway through Manning Park, and down at the creek there's maybe this much water coming out of the mountain, and it was the sweetest tasting water that I've ever tasted in my life. And in a way, we got into hope. This brother went his way, and I was kind of sad because I was really enjoying this part of the journey, being out there, just walking with the Lord, sharing with people. I'm the kind of person where I kind of shy away from crowds, right? I don't like the city, and it's just a bunch of confusion. I'm going to stop it here, and take one more video to finish up the second part of the journey, and then you'll be able to start connecting the dots and be able to see the Father's plan that He has on my life. This is Joshua Taylor, Donald D. Taylor, coming to you with the testimony of the Lord, how God's been working in my life, and He hasn't stopped working. Everything that's gone before this time is to prepare me for the real mission that lies ahead.